By reducing fuel imports, ethanol reduces our nation's trade imbalance, improves our energy security, creates American jobs, and provides value-added markets for American agriculture. Its use cleans America's air and offers consumers a cost-effective choice at the pump. This year, the U.S. ethanol industry will grow to provide over 6 billion gallons of clean-burning, renewable fuel to our country's supply. Ethanol is an octane-enhancing fuel additive produced by fermenting corn with yeast. With over 80 million acres of corn planted annually, this renewable energy source has been approved by every auto manufacturer doing business in the U.S. With its lower emission capabilities, ethanol meets the demand for a cleaner burning fuel additive. Welcome to Golden Grain Energy, a privately held company dedicated to adding value to northern Iowa's corn production by turning locally grown corn into clean-burning ethanol. The company currently produces more than 60 million gallons of ethanol annually at a plant in Mason City, Iowa. Owned by 787 members, the majority of whom are Northeast Iowa farmers, Golden Grain Energy is committed to being a strong partner in the local community, a key player in the regional economy, and a leader in Iowa's ethanol industry. We employ 33 individuals in rewarding professional careers and purchase more than 20 million bushels of locally grown corn annually. In addition to ethanol, Golden Grain Energy produces both wet and dry distillers' grains, providing a feed source for livestock producers throughout America. This type of volume requires over 65,000 bushels of corn per day. Construction is currently underway to expand the plant, doubling production by the summer of 2007 to help meet the growing national demand for domestic biofuels, which are the key components of our nation's efforts to reduce reliance on foreign oil and improve air quality around the country. All corn received goes through a rigorous inspection to ensure it meets No. 2 level corn standards. Maintaining control of inbound grain quality maximizes plant conversion efficiency and minimizes potential infections that are costly. 2 large grain dump pits with a capacity of 15,000 bushel per hour keep the corn flowing and ultimately distributed to these 200,000 bushel silos. This capacity provides Golden Grain Energy with a 5 to 7 day supply in case of inclement weather. A state-of-the-art control room and laboratory is the heart of the entire operation. A 24-hour control system monitors all processes and product flows. Laboratory personnel monitor the process for conversion of starch, production of alcohol, and quality of the end products. Corn is comprised of starch, 65 to 70%, germs, 6 to 7%, water, 14 to 16%, fiber, 10 to 12%. Corn is fed into a grinder called a hammer mill that provides a consistent, smaller-sized particle or flour that exposes the starch for processing. Liquid is then added to create a mash and the first step in the cooking process. The temperature is then increased to liquefy the starch in the mash while enzymes are added to break down the starch to long-chain sugars and ultimately produce glucose. The mash is now cooled and transferred into large fermentation tanks where yeast is added to start the fermentation process and converts the sugars into alcohol. This process takes about 45 hours with the final stage set in the beer well. Carbon dioxide is a byproduct of yeast fermentation. A CO2 scrubber entrains the vapor alcohol in water and returns it to the process. The fermented mash is separated from the alcohol in the distillation and dehydration process. Water and spent solids are then removed for the purpose of purifying the alcohol to a sellable product. Alcohol is flashed or heated to 170 degrees in the first column or beer column, where the vapor is captured at the top of the column, while the solids are pumped from the bottom to a holding tank. The second column or rectifying column separates high-proof alcohol from water as the alcohol is flashed to a vapor at 170 degrees Fahrenheit at the top, and lower-proof alcohol is pumped out the bottom to a side stripper. The side stripper separates low-proof alcohol from extra water based again on the 170 degree Fahrenheit flash point, while the water falling from the bottom is pumped back to the cooking process for reuse. This reuse allows GGE to be highly efficient in its use of water as well as being environmentally friendly. This process results in 190 proof or 95% alcohol, but there is still another step. The alcohol is then pressurized through a molecular sieve or series of beads that allow water to be absorbed. Because the alcohol molecules are too large to enter the sieve, 200 proof alcohol flows through the sieve to the tank, ready to be denatured, loaded, and shipped to a refinery or gasoline distribution hub for blending. Efficient and cost-effective transportation of the final product is key to Golden Grain Energy's premier status as a volume supplier that is able to meet the demands of the petroleum industry. A fleet of pooled lease tank cars gives Golden Grain Energy the ability to reach into any destination with cost-effective ethanol and is unsurpassed in the industry. Golden Grain Energy has an ownership interest in Renewable Products Marketing Group that collectively pools the production of Golden Grain Energy with 15 other farmer-owned plants in the Midwest to take advantage of transportation logistics by truck and rail. This has aided GGE to successfully lower our marketing costs and increase the net selling price of ethanol. Truck capabilities allows Golden Grain Energy to react to local demands for fuel ethanol as well, always ensuring that the best priced product makes it to the most needed destination. Spent grains from the remaining mash are processed in a centrifuge that condenses the solids into a wet cake with a moisture content of approximately 50%. This wet cake has high nutritional value in the livestock market, allowing for the product to be a source of protein as well as energy at feeding or nutritional values equal to or better than the whole corn. During this process, the liquid or stillage that is removed from the spent grains is evaporated to remove the excess moisture. The thickening of the stillage produces a byproduct called syrup that contains 40% solids. The product is applied to the wet cake during the drying process, thus giving the byproduct name dried distiller's grains with solubles. The remaining water is recycled and used in the cooking process. The wet cake is then dried to 10% moisture using large rotary drums to provide high-quality dried distiller grains with soluble used in a variety of feed markets. At Golden Grain Energy, our mission is to add value to the corn production in the area and enhance the income of the investor partners while providing economic growth to the area we serve. Golden Grain Energy. Energy for a clean environment.